the Meghan and Harry scandal, manipulation, betrayal, and a royal downfall. For years, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have portrayed themselves as victims, casualties of royal cruelty, media scrutiny, and a system that refused to accept an outsider. But in his bombshell book Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, investigative journalist Tom Bower shatters that narrative. His explosive claims paint a starkly different picture, one of calculated ambition, ruthless manipulation, and a royal rift that may never heal. What if everything we thought we knew about Megxit was a lie? What if Meghan Markle wasn't the victim, but the mastermind? A love story or a power move? From the moment Meghan Markle entered Prince Harry's life, Bower suggests she had a plan. She recognized his emotional struggles, his lifelong search for purpose beyond the constraints of royal duties, and his deep-seated resentment toward the British press. To Harry, she presented herself as the answer to his problems, the partner who would help him break free from the monarchy's suffocating grip. Love keeping up with the British royal family? Hit subscribe and never miss a moment of royal news. Their whirlwind romance moved at an unprecedented speed. From a Hollywood actress with a modest level of fame, Meghan transformed into a duchess in record time. But behind the fairy tale engagement photos and glamorous wedding, tensions were already brewing. Some palace insiders suspected that Meghan wasn't adjusting to royal life, she was bending it to fit her own ambitions. The royal rift that couldn't be fixed. Bower claims that from the beginning, Meghan was determined to outshine the Cambridges, Prince William and Kate Middleton. This, he says, led to a deepening family rift, particularly between the two brothers who had once been inseparable. Behind closed doors, battles erupted over Meghan's treatment of palace staff, her disregard for royal protocol, and her demands for preferential treatment. One infamous incident, according to Bower, involved a confrontation between Meghan and Kate Middleton over bridesmaid dresses for Meghan's wedding. Reports suggest that Meghan's approach was aggressive and dismissive, leading to a tearful Kate, though Meghan later claimed she was the one who had been wronged. The palace, as always, remained silent. But it wasn't just Kate and William who found themselves at odds with Meghan. Queen Elizabeth reportedly tried to guide the new Duchess, only to find herself ignored. King Charles, then still Prince of Wales, was caught between his feuding sons. The once close-knit family was splintering at an alarming rate. The question was, why? The Sussex exit, Megxit, wasn't an escape. It was a strategy. By 2020, the cracks had turned into a full-blown rupture. Meghan and Harry announced their shocking departure from the royal family, sending shockwaves across the world. To many, it seemed like a desperate escape from an institution that had rejected Meghan. But according to Bower, the exit wasn't an act of survival. It was an orchestrated move, one Meghan had been planning all along. The book alleges that Meghan methodically convinced Harry that leaving the royal family was the only way for them to be happy. She reportedly framed the royal institution as their enemy, isolating Harry and reinforcing the idea that she was his only true ally. But if it was really about freedom, why did they monetize their exit so quickly? Netflix, Spotify, a multi-million-dollar book deal. Their move to North America wasn't a retreat, it was a rebrand. According to Bower, their so-called quest for privacy was a smokescreen. They weren't stepping away from the spotlight. They were seizing control of it. The fallout, a family torn apart. The consequences of their departure were devastating. Prince William and Harry's once unbreakable bond was reduced to icy, formal exchanges. The brothers, who had leaned on each other through their mother Princess Diana's death, were now barely speaking. King Charles, blindsided by their abrupt exit, struggled to maintain peace. Queen Elizabeth, who had spent her life prioritizing duty above all else, was deeply hurt. Her attempts to smooth things over reportedly fell on deaf ears. And as for Harry? Many believe he was so devoted to Meghan that he willingly sacrificed his family ties. But was it worth it? Public reaction, sympathy, or skepticism? In the wake of their exit, public opinion shifted dramatically. For some, Meghan was a survivor, a woman who had been chewed up and spat out by the monarchy, and who had the courage to walk away. But for others, Bower's claims confirmed their suspicions. Meghan hadn't been a victim. She had been a strategist. She had played the long game, using Harry's emotional wounds to her advantage, and when the palace no longer served her, she discarded it. Even former supporters of the Sussexes began to question their true motives. Why, if they wanted privacy, did they continue doing high-profile interviews, spilling royal secrets for lucrative deals? Why, if they despised the media, did they willingly invite cameras into their lives for a Netflix documentary? The cracks in their narrative were becoming harder to ignore. The rumors, a divorce on the horizon? Now, speculation is growing that the Sussexes' fairy tale may be crumbling. Whispers of marital strain have intensified as Harry and Meghan are increasingly seen making separate public appearances. Reports suggest growing disagreements over their brand direction, Meghan leaning toward Hollywood, while Harry focuses on philanthropy. Body language experts have analyzed their interactions, noting subtle signs of tension. Could their love story, once so tightly woven, be unraveling? 3 possible outcomes for Harry and Meghan. As their future hangs in the balance, there are 3 possible scenarios for the Sussexes. Rebrand and rebuild, least likely. They shift away from royal drama, mend fences with the family, and focus on positive endeavors. But given their history, is this even realistic? Step away from the spotlight, somewhat possible. They fade into a quieter existence, focusing on charitable efforts and raising their children in peace. However, without the royal connection, will they still hold public interest? A high-profile split and Harry's return to the UK, most likely. If their marriage crumbles, Harry could seek reconciliation with his family. But would the royals take him back after everything? The uncertain future. Can they survive without the royal brand? Post-royalty, their success has been mixed. Their Netflix documentary was a hit, and Harry's memoir shattered sales records. But cracks are forming. Spotify cut ties with them, and public enthusiasm for their projects is fading. Without the royal connection, can they maintain their influence? Or will they, like so many before them, fade into obscurity? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. Final thoughts. Tom Bower's Revenge presents a version of events that challenges everything we thought we knew about Harry and Meghan. Was Meghan a woman trapped in a system that rejected her? Or was she the architect of her own rise and fall? As public perception shifts and rumors swirl, the world watches and waits for the next chapter in the Sussex saga. And if history has taught us anything, it will be just as explosive as the last.